This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Look, Bumble knows you're exhausted by dating. All the must not take yourself too seriously and 6'1" since that matters. And what do I even say other than hey? Well, that's why they're introducing an all-new Bumble with exciting features to make compatibility easier, starting the chat better, and dating safer. They've changed, so you don't have to. Download the new Bumble now.
What does a woman stepping into her femininity look like to you?
I think usually it's a
good question.
It is a good question.
Because I feel like stepping into femininity and
it's usually tough because I feel like the feminine women don't never ask those questions. So it's like, you know, that when I found myself.
Hold on.
Oh, I mean, no offense.
I'm not
you know
saying, no, I'm asking from a male person. I'm asking from a male.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Daily Wrap Up Crew. No book of, I go by the name of Eli. Make sure y'all follow me on IG, The Real Y Eli. I promise you, I'll never get used to that. Like, how many times I say that? How many episodes has it been? I don't know, but I don't get used to that, man. Make sure y'all shoot me a DM. 15. I ain't got 15 episodes?
Around there.
15? Probably so. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, yo, shoot me a DM, follow me, man. I promise you, I'm gonna get back to. I don't got that many followers. So, you know what I mean? I'm gonna see. I ain't like Ace. Like, you know what I'm saying? Man. I can't use that. I got too many messages. I don't got enough. So hit me up. Anyway, we got Ace with us.
Yes, indeed. It's Daily Wrap Up Crew. Respect due. You must be bowling because how we get a strike on YouTube. You heard?
That's not a good thing, by the way. That is not a good thing. I promise you. Like, yo, anyway, man, we got some special guests in the building. Ladies, let them know where they can follow you at.
Hey, what's up? My name is Nino Reyes. I am a journalist and a marketer. I work with some pretty dope brands like Disney and Lincoln Center. And you can find me at NRE24 on Instagram. So
we need a Disney sponsor. What's up?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Hey, I'm Beyonce. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok, Beyonce_.
Beyonce.
Yeah, that's type fire. I'm not even gonna lie.
Beyonce. Okay.
Hi everyone. I'm Charisma. You can follow me on Instagram at Charisma KARIZMAA.
Mm-hmm. Hi everyone. I'm Vickiana. You can follow me on Instagram at Vickiana Celeste.
First of all, I just want to let y'all know, Vicky, she's serious. She took off the glasses. Like, she's serious.
Like, ready for war.
Hey everybody, it's Brianna Imani. I am also a journalist. I also work in development for film and TV. You can follow me on Instagram at Brianna with 1 N, Imani _.
Mm-hmm. Listen, before we get into this episode, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if y'all not already subscribed. Join the membership, man. We got exclusive content behind there. Episodes early. I mean, it's like 4 or 5 episodes on there that's not even out to the public. So make sure y'all join the membership. Stay tuned for the Atlanta blog that we had. Like, we got some exclusive content behind there. Y'all might see people fighting. I don't know what y'all gonna see, but make sure y'all join the membership, man. And cop the merch, man. Dailyrapupcrew.co. Listen to the podcast audio every Tuesday morning and the second YouTube channel is.
We still doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Daily Wrap Up Crew clips. Yeah.
Okay, you better at saying that than me. That's why I was like, no. Anyway, let me get to this first topic, right? Are women generally looking for a husband or someone to sponsor them? What's your thoughts on this?
Sheesh.
I think for the two to exist in the same question is insane. Like a sponsor because it's kind of like, are women actively looking for sponsors when it comes to comparing to marriage? I don't know. I haven't seen that.
I think what's happening, I'm noticing, is there's a lot more women having discussions about wanting to be a sugar baby, right? Mm-hmm. And being a sugar baby comes with, well, in women's heads, they think they're going to find a man that's just going to give them unlimited money with no access to them. And that's the lifestyle they genuinely want to live, because you don't have the responsibility of having to cater to that man, or, you know, maybe I have to entertain some companionship, but that's the extent of the relationship with them. Mm-hmm. Now with a husband, there's much more responsibility, which is why sometimes when we even talk to women, some women might even say, I'd rather be a single mom than a wife, because there's more responsibility that comes with being a wife than it is being a single mother, which is crazy to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's why I asked, like, do women really want a husband, or do they just want somebody to provide a lifestyle for them?
Mm-hmm. I feel like if men had the means to provide, this wouldn't be a topic.
That's true.
Wait to avoid the question.
No, but I understand what you're saying. I think it also depends on what phase you are in your life. I don't think there's any woman who's actually ready to settle down who would say, I want a sponsor. You know, like if you're ready in that phase where you want to be married, it's not really about the money. I feel like when it comes to that, like you want a partner, someone like that you can have like a partnership that can provide for you. But I think the problem is men see providing for a woman as even a wife as like some hard responsibility, when in reality, a man should be able to be a provider if they're going to be with someone. You shouldn't even be looking to be married as a man if you cannot provide for the person that you are with.
What do you consider providing?
Providing, it's not just financially, like emotionally. Some men will get into situations or marriages with women when they haven't gone to therapy and they're not even emotionally stable to be in a situation like that. Like you need to be able to provide emotionally, physically, financially. Like it's not just finances. And that's what I feel like men really look to is, I don't want to get married because I don't want to provide for a woman. But that it's not all about that. A woman can be 50-50 with you and you still can lack in providing other things. You know?
So I think it's actually divided into two issues. I think one, women are fucking up too, because we're out here like, we just want money. We're talking about it on social media. And now men are afraid. They're like, why would I want to commit? What are her intentions? Maybe she might want to use me. She's probably a gold digger. And then there are women who do want a husband, and they are actually not just seeking for the financial support. They're actually looking also for love. But yes, there are women who are traditional and do want love too. You know, so I think that it is divided into two. We have a new culture of sex workers where they're very open and blatant about what their intentions are. So I think that can also be for a lot of men like, whoa, I don't know what I'm getting into, or what she's what is her lifestyle outside of what is she showing me? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that in itself can also cause men to be very guarded. And also, like, when you see divorce rates, it usually leans more into women as the benefit, who gains the most benefits. And men are afraid to commit to women when she might just want to leave you later on, and then he might lose everything being with you. So those are like some perspectives to look at, you know? Mm-hmm. That's my thought on that.
But what about the type of person that you're seeking? Like, are you consistently going after the same type of person? Are you going to the club to find your partner every time?
That is true.
So, because a lot of men
and trying to get a wife?
That's true.
And that's what I think too, because when it comes to like looking for a sponsor or looking for a husband, I mean, I'm not looking for either, but would I love a sponsor? Absolutely. And would I love a husband? Absolutely too. But I also can say that I haven't really come across a lot of husband material these days. I feel like even when I speak to women who are older than me, they're like, so when are you going to settle down, get married, and have kids? I don't see anybody that I feel like I want to do that with. And I'm not my ancestors who wanted a husband just for the sake of stability. So it's like, if I happen to come across somebody that's willing to fund my lifestyle, then fuck it, we ball. Like, that's fun. But I'm not going to like force myself in any box. And I think that's why I said it's kind of crazy that the two exist, because it doesn't have to be one or the other. It could be like whatever works for you. If you come across a man that you're vibing with that's willing to sponsor you or just fund your lifestyle, what I call investing, because you're making me a better person, then that's cool. But if I find a man that I can see myself building a life with that doesn't consider himself to be a sponsor, and it's like we're vibing and you don't mind like doing what you're doing, then we can see where that goes. I don't think it has to be one or the other necessarily.
So, you know what's interesting? Like, I'm finally at the point where I'm like in my most submissive and like my most feminine energy, because I've been in phases where I've been like super masculine. And I find that what I attract now is men that actually want to take care of me and want to make me a wife. It's very interesting.
Say that again.
So a lot of times,
for the people in the back.
it's
Wait,
really,
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You said you find yourself being in a much more submissive and feminine state. Did a man have to bring that out of you, or did you just naturally?
That was something I had to heal through and work on. I'm a single mom, so becoming a single mom made me super masculine, and I had to provide and I had to figure it out. And a lot of times it angers you to have to go through certain situations in life, especially having to be this hyper independent woman. And then eventually I realized, well, I need to do some shadow work. I need to figure it out within myself internally. And eventually I was like, well, you know what? When you are gravitating from this like super masculine energy, what you do, you repel men. Men don't want to be around you. You come off as too aggressive and they're kind of like, I don't really want that. And I eventually realized, like, I've always been super feminine growing up. Like, I come from a two-parent home. So I grew up around a lot of love. And I was like, okay, this way of living is not really, is not leaning towards my benefit, And then I realized working on myself, becoming the most feminine version of myself, I definitely started to attract the kind of love that I wanted. So I think it's really dependent a lot of times of who you are within yourself. You attract what you are, and that's really, really, really real. So
I think that I think I've had a little bit of the opposite experience than that. I definitely understand where you're coming from. Sometimes I feel like submissiveness, I do feel like it's about the type of man you are around. Because there have been times where I have been in relationships with a man who says, oh, you're so like aggressive, or you're not submissive enough. And then there was another man who says, absolutely not. Like, you're the most submissive person I've been with. But I feel like it's also about the man who he is as a person. Different men bring out different things in different women. Like, if you're with someone, it can be a totally different experience of when they're with someone else. You know that person in a different way. So I feel like it's really about who that man is to bring what parts of you. Different people bring out different parts of who you are, So that's been like my experience, that I haven't really had to change myself. It was really who that person was.
It was a natural change for you.
Yeah, it was like natural. And then
it's either that or that man just tolerated your behavior and he just thought that was good enough. And maybe he didn't know his worth and he thought how you were treating him was good enough for him. Like, you know what I mean? So I do get what
yourself being submissive. You can feel yourself letting that guard down and that masculinity down. So I think that's where.
So you felt like you were letting your guard down, or you just felt like you were the same person and he was just accepting of it?
I felt like I was the same person sometimes, but it's was that the man, like different men are more dominating, or they feel like sometimes certain men feel more confident in how they are. So that portrays in the women that they're with. So if there's a man who feels like he's not a person who can take control, they will see the woman that they're with as, oh, she's too aggressive. But it's really an internal thing within that man sometimes. It has nothing to do with that woman being like less submissive to him. It's because he doesn't know how to lead. And men who don't know how to lead end up with women who have to lead for them. So
I think that's a valid point to a degree. I do think that some women try to justify their poor behavior. I'm not saying you have poor behavior, but someone will try to justify them being like, oh, well, he just can't handle me. How many women have we had on this show who said they need a man that can handle them? Mm-hmm. That handle comes with a poor behavior, bad attitude. You just need somebody that's going to quote unquote handle you. A lot of men is not going to want to have to handle a woman or feel like they have to tolerate certain behavior because, oh, they're not alpha enough. Let me talk about myself, right? Mm-hmm. I'm to the point where, like, I'm 33 years old. I am not fighting a woman on her masculinity. Like, if you got to come with your femininity, like, you know what I mean? I'm not fighting. I'm not trying to tear down that wall. I don't care about the trauma that you have built up with the previous exes. Like, I need you to present as a feminine woman. Like, and I'm always be masculine. I can never come to you half stepping. Damn, I'm half masculine and half, like, I can't do that because most women, maybe you might, but most women wouldn't find that attractive.
What does a woman stepping into her femininity look like to you? I
think usually it's a
good question though.
It is a good question.
Because I feel like we keep on saying like stepping into femininity and
it's usually tough because I feel like the feminine women don't never ask those questions. So it's like, that when I found myself
hold on, excuse me.
Oh, I mean, no offense.
I'm not
You know what
saying
I'm
no.
saying?
I'm asking from a
Hit that like
male
button, man.
I'm asking from a male perspective because even when Nino was saying she stepped into her femininity and she was willing to be a lot more submissive, you were like, "Oh, say it again for the people in the back." And so it's like, okay, so for the people in the back, as a man, what does it look like how do you recognize when a woman is stepping into her femininity and being more submissive? Because what I may think of as me being a feminine woman and stepping into my femininity might not measure up to what you may think that looks like. So that's why I'm asking, not because I don't understand it.
I think, well, for me, I think feminine energy is a woman that's nurturing, that has that natural nurturing energy. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not just saying nurture me because I think sometimes when we hear that word, we think, oh, you're supposed to baby me or like, rub my head and I'm supposed to be sucking on your titty. I don't feel like that. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like the energy that you bring to
nurturing, it's an investment.
I mean,
the
nurturing part. Yeah. So I think it's the type of energy that you bring out that motivates me as a man to want to actually provide for you to want to protect you, to want to do things for you because I enjoy the energy that you actually are exhibiting. Yeah. Now, when you say things like, oh, wow, it's not really a masculine thing because I feel like sometimes we equate being an adult with being masculine. Like paying your bills is not masculine. It's just being an adult. Like having responsibilities is called being an adult. It's not called being masculine. Now, I think when we talk about masculine, I think we talk about women that are overly aggressive, always feel the need to be combative. Like those are typically traits that we associate with men because men are normally more combative because we're more protective in that sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to let people walk all over us because we feel like we have to protect ourselves and our family. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I think those traits, to me at least, is what I see with women. And I could just tell it. So it's just automatic to me. Like I could sense it. Like, you know what I mean? So what about you, Ace?
Yeah, that's well said. I just think it's an energy that you could sense when you're around the person because certain people come on the show and you could tell off the bat just when they walking in and the first encounter with them if they're masculine or feminine. Like it's just a energy you exude, in my opinion.
And sometimes it don't. This is why I say it's the energy because when women have that feminine energy, animals can sense it, babies can sense it. Like this is just universal. Like people gravitate towards that energy. It's not even nothing that you said or you done. It's just how you carry yourself as a feminine woman. Like you know what I mean? Which is. I'm about to get into another.
I think that's
episode,
so interesting because I know people with generally good energy that I wouldn't consider to be like stepping into their divine feminine, that I think they have all of the traits that you described, but they probably wouldn't even consider themselves to be feminine. They would consider themselves masculine? I don't necessarily think it has to be either or. I feel like you can have I'm not somebody that considers certain traits to be masculine. Mm-hmm. If I disagree with something, me having a debate or an argument with you about something that I disagree with doesn't mean that I'm a masculine woman. It just means that I disagree and I'm willing to speak my mind. Or I'm not willing to concede to what you're saying for the sake of you being my man and you needing to be right because you're the man. I just think that I don't know. It's very interesting to hear a man's perspective. Yeah, I don't think you just conceding to me and just be, oh, you're right. Like, I don't mind the pushback. You know what I mean? Like, I actually value that in a woman. Like, you know what I mean? Hey, I know you think this way, but what about you look at it from this angle? Like, I could respect that. You get what I'm saying? Now, when you're telling me I'm blatantly wrong and I should do it this way, or you're more knowledgeable than me because you went to school for nursing and you know how to fucking you could tell me more about putting an AC in a window because you went to school for, like, those are the type of things that's just kind of annoying. Like, that is just overly combative for no reason. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, disagreeing is not a masculine or a feminine trait. It's the way you go about it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So if you want to buck up and get in my face and you don't have to do that as a lady. You know what I'm saying? That's a masculine thing. I expect that from me and him arguing. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't think usually women that usually articulate themselves that be like, well, I'm both masculine and feminine. I don't never hear men describe themselves, even though we all understand that we both have that energy. Yeah. I've never heard a man articulate himself and be like, well, you know what? I'm both masculine and feminine. Like, it's usually women that I hear trying to play both sides of the fences.
Well, I think that's because a lot of men they possess a toxic masculine trait where they would never admit to having any type of femininity in them. So I don't think you would hear that coming from a man, especially with today's time. You hear a man saying that he has feminine traits and now he's gay. Like, I don't think that we're living in a world where men would be comfortable enough to be open about that. But it doesn't mean that gay?
Everybody else, people.
I mean,
say that.
Who's the majority of people that's calling that man gay if he says, "Yo, I
other
operate."
men?
I mean, it comes from both. No, I mean, it comes from both. Are you kidding me?
Women can't wait to use the gay word against a man at every part of a conversation. Like when they don't agree, especially when they don't agree with him.
That is the go-to.
That's the go-to automatically
to diminish any straight man in an argument. Like
I think it depends on the women that you're talking about. I've never called a man gay to like for the sake of an argument. I can say that we on camera now, and if anybody disagrees and we've had a conversation, leave a comment. Leave a comment.
Send me a DM.
I've literally never like that's not a go-to for me because. If you're not gay, you're not gay. Like I'm not just gonna bring it up because you're acting feminine, or like what people would consider.
So you never call something sassy or
yeah, I mean being sassy.
That's the same shit.
No, sassy men can definitely be sassy, but I'm not gonna call you gay.
What you think sassy?
You can be a sassy straight man.
Yeah, like
because you can be sassy.
Wanting flowers.
What is gay? Gay is a man being attracted to another man. How are you gay because of the way that you're acting?
Sassy has, at least from my understanding, has always been a term that we have always used to describe
women and gay men.
Women and gay, exactly the behavior that they exhibit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Terms are changing now. Yeah, terms are changing because when I say sassy, it's like men who will not buy a woman flowers but want flowers given to them. Like that's a little sassy of you.
And you know that's not the actual definition of sassy.
Yeah, sassy. I think
no, sassy means like you're combative and you like to fight,
like resilient.
Yeah,
like you like. We just a little girl giving attitude to a grown adult. That's sassy.
That's sassy,
right?
But we want to call like
we're using it differently.
I don't think sassy means gay.
So a man expecting flowers but don't want to give a woman flowers. You don't think there's something wrong with that?
Why you can't give me flowers?
That doesn't want to? Yeah, of course there's nothing wrong with that.
And that's not. I ain't gonna go there.
I wouldn't even call that sassy. That's selfish. How you expecting flowers from me and you're not giving me any? Okay. I mean, like, if you like flowers, you like flowers. It's like that's. But
they're like, I get flowers for girls all the time, and no one's ever given me flowers.
You've heard a guy say that.
I heard like, I want some flowers. Give me flowers.
Yo, who are these men, bro? Like,
I think that's like a, and there are men that probably have said that. I'm not taking that away, but I think that comes from a place of, it's like it's a hypothetical. It's just like, yo, they're not talking about flowers necessarily. They're talking about, I have done nice gestures for a woman and I've never gotten anything reciprocated towards me. So it all does
metaphorically.
There are men that like flowers.
I'm not saying
like, literally,
I'm not saying that there are men that probably have said that and probably mean that, but I know there are a lot of men that mean that in a metaphoric way. Like I've done all this for a woman and I haven't. She's never thought about doing anything for me because it's never reciprocated.
I don't think a man would mind receiving flowers like that. That's not, anybody would enjoy flowers probably, but I think I agree where it's a metaphor. Like we do all these nice things for women as men, and like what do they reciprocate to us besides maybe splitting the bill or paying for dinner?
But that's also depending on the type of woman you are with. Mm-hmm. Because if a man is saying, I've never received this or I've never received that, well, what are the type of women that you are looking for? Right. What are the type of women you are attracting? If you feel like the woman that you're with or the women that you have been with haven't reciprocated anything, then maybe you should be changing the type of woman that you are searching for. Because men will, like, I think with what you said, women attract where they are in life, like what phase they are in life. But men are hunters. They go seeking for things. You know what I mean? So if you're going to seek for a woman who might be beautiful, but you know she's a little vain, then of course you're not going to get the reciprocated energy of a nurturing woman, of someone who's going to care for you, of someone who's going to buy you flowers, because that's not what you're looking for, you know? And then they want to go back and say, all women are like this. No, the women you are with, the women you have been searching for are like this.
I love that energy.
Yeah, when you want a wife, you'll find a wife.
I love that energy.
And to bring I guess, the conversation back full circle, I feel like to that, if you're a man that's pursuing a woman that's looking for a sponsor, you can't expect to have a reciprocal relationship because that's not what she's looking for. So that's also like you knowing what type of situation that you're in. So if you are a woman that's looking for a sponsor and you're a man that's looking for a wife, those two are not going to exist in the same thing. So you're not going to get that reciprocated. Whereas if you have a woman that's looking for a husband, and you're doing husband things, she's going to reciprocate that because she sees a future with you and she's willing to invest in you as much as you're willing to invest in her.
I want to get back to what you said about, you know, you said if you're a man, if that's what you're attracting or that's what you're going after, you're looking for. I like to keep the same energy on this show. You know what I mean? So I do like what you said, and I just want everybody to keep that same energy. When we talk about men, when we get to the men bashing, I just want to keep that same energy. But let me get to this next topic, which kind of correlates. I see a lot of conversation, and shout out to Scarface Mark. He got the whole softball era. He really going crazy on TikTok. I'm not even going.
Jizzle.
But he has this thing where he feels like a man being a provider, and in this aspect, we're talking about provider as far as finances, because let's be honest. When most women talk about a provider man, is usually a man that could provide all of the bills. Like I understand there's other aspects, but usually when women talk, it's about finances. So he says that a man being a 100% provider in 2024 is a scam. Do you think that's true?
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
I think that no, because one, I am a very traditional type of woman, so I do believe that a man should provide. I think that should be like flat out across the board the norm, right? Because a lot of times, for example, if you're going 50-50, then you're trying to be my roommate, and that's not what I'm seeking. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're gonna go half on rent, then I might as well have a roommate. I really feel like
I'd rather pay the bills 100% and then go half with a partner. Because somebody talked about partner, right? Earlier, right? Somebody said the word partner. Or you're looking for a partner. Yeah. Run the tape back. Somebody said looking for a partner.
Nah.
Have you ever been in a business
I
relationship?
want a husband.
Have you ever been in a partner business relationship where one partner just went 100% and you went 0?
I have
That's
been
possible?
in that dynamic.
You would be in a business relationship like that?
In a business
you can get
relationship.
other things from
It's a partnership, right?
Yeah,
We're both business partners.
100% finances. Somebody can do the legwork.
That's what the partnership is.
You don't have to do the same exact thing. 100% doesn't mean that we both given 100% finances.
Okay.
100% could look different.
But that's not 100%.
That's not 100%. That's what I'm saying.
You're playing a part, and you're playing a part in that business. There's not 100%.
You an employee.
If I invest in it and you're doing all the legwork, I put in my 50%, and you put in your 50%.
Okay, I see where you're coming
makes
from.
100.
Yeah. But this is the thing, like with what you said, like men will look at that, like say a dad and a mom, right?
Right.
If a father is not home and he's going to get the money and he's going to like do all the work, and the woman is stay-at-home mom, who in that partnership is doing more? To men, the man who is going to work and getting all the money, he's doing 100% of the work. But in reality, being a mother at home, stay at home, you know how insane that is to do that? I'm a mom, and trust me, it's insane. Like so being at home all day with children.
Why are women articulating themselves that they would rather be a stay-at-home wife, that way they don't have to pay any bills? If that was the case, then there should be more women vouching to go to work and to split the children responsibilities 50-50.
There are women who do that.
Not to mention the statistics show that single fathers are better parents than single moms.
I ain't see
Where are
that.
those statistics?
No, those statistics do exist. It's not.
We
What happens is,
shout out to the single fathers, but yeah, I would love to.
I want to see the statistics.
what he's referring to is that the outcomes of children in comparison to in single mother households compared to single father households. Single father households mostly yield the same results as a 2-family household, whereas a single mother household, the children are more likely to run away, commit suicide, commit crime, go to jail, get teenage pregnancy and things of
But
that.
that's
I don't doubt that. I just want to see it. Like,
That's
No,
so
we
hard
can
of a
show you.
statistic
I
though
mean,
too when there's more single mothers than single fathers. So the outcome
accurate
it's not based on the quantity, it's based on the percentage.
I
Like,
mean,
it's
but
not,
when you put it like that, it does make sense because women naturally we don't want to go to work. Like we take care of home naturally. So if you put us in an environment that's not natural to us, it's kind of like we're trying to fight. We're fending for ourselves.
Can I give you an example, right? So, like, my brother and his wife, they're both NYPD cops.
Mhm.
They both make the same amount and they have a daughter. My brother takes care of the mortgage. They're buying their second home. She takes care of the food, the baby, and all the responsibilities, vacations she pays for. But he's taking care of, like, the major bills.
right.
Because today the dynamic is super different compared to, like, our great-grandparents and, like,
So
our
is he a provider
ancestors.
before you go? Is he a provider?
He is the provider at
Okay.
home because he
Is that
is taking
50-50?
care. I think the provider is taking care of the home first before, like, that major bill of your home.
Is that
Like,
50-50?
What's a provider?
A 50-50 could be like, right, her doing like acts of service and taking care of like the
No,
food.
but I'm asking you
Mhm.
that specific situation you talking about. Is that 50-50?
I would say it is.
Okay.
Because it is a partnership. She's still taking care of certain responsibilities.
So
You know,
but would you be okay in that relationship?
I would be okay with that as long
Okay,
as
but you
my
just
partner's
compared 50-50 to having a roommate.
Oh, well, when I was saying that was half the rent and half the mortgage or half that type of bill.
Okay.
I don't want to do that with my man. My man needs to take care of the home we come home to and our children come home to. And if God forbid I died, you should be able to take care of a home at least. You know what I'm saying? That's the minimal. So to me, like, that is an expectation.
Well, why
I feel.
is that implying that he couldn't do that? Just because y'all going 50-50. Maybe he's using that 50 to, take care of the house, and the other 50 he's investing for y'all future.
That would be a conversation.
That's a different thing. And
All right, but y'all don't bring that up when y'all talk about
that's
these
what I'm saying. Like,
relationships.
what you said, I don't have an issue with that, but I don't
Right.
think women are, the bulk of women are articulating themselves in that way. What we're hearing on this show and online, we're hearing that a man pays for your money. A man's money is my money, and my money is my money. So that means I worked the 80 hours, whatever, how many hours a week, while limiting myself from my family because I always have to work, while you are also working and you feel like you could spend that on Fashion Nova, on personal shit, or whatever the case is. That to me sounds like a scam. And that's the part I understand where, it does sound like a scam because we are not getting the same quality
I get
of
your point.
even this. We're not even getting the same quality of women. And y'all can say y'all not getting the same quality of men. That's fair. But we're not getting the same quality because a lot of women are complaining about they don't want to cook. Some women don't even know how to cook. We're not getting unlimited sex like we was promised before we got married. Like, now sex is a chore. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so, even you, I had a long day at work. No, like, now you have an attitude. Like, so we're not getting the same quality of women, but we still have to provide like we were our grandfathers. And I think that's where men are having an issue. Like, you know what I mean?
And I think that's why relationships are failing at the rate that they're failing. And that's why everyone's unhappy. And we're on these apps, continue swiping, looking for the next person because we're not fulfilling each other and we're not stepping into our roles. And we have roles as the sex that we are. And that's the thing that people are not really comprehending. So
I
See,
do-
with the
Yeah, go
whole
ahead, yeah.
role things and like with the question, the simple answer is sadly it is a scam because has nothing to do with men and women. In the world that we live in today, it is nearly impossible to be a man and be able to provide for a woman, your children, the home, because jobs aren't paying our grandfather's jobs back then. Like, houses don't cost the same amount of money they used to cost back then. So yes, as a man in today's society, it is nearly impossible to be a one income household and provide for your whole family. So that is the biggest reason why there are two income households, because if a woman wasn't to work, the man would be driving himself crazy, killing himself trying to provide. Not that he shouldn't, but it would be extremely hard. So that's why you have to be a two-parent household sometimes. Like, women don't have the choice because it's either see your man struggle and kill himself over a job trying to provide for you, or step up and do 50-50. So, and then with the whole roles thing, I think I'm very traditional as well. I would have said before, like, yes, like, I want to be at home. I want to be a homemaker. I want to be a wife and stay at home and cook and clean. Like, that would have been my traditional thing. But in the world we live in today, it's hard to do that.
But you want to know what's funny about what you're saying? There's another topic that falls into this, and it's the dangers of feminism that nobody likes to talk about, right? I understand that feminism in many ways is so empowering, and that's a great thing for us women. We get to make money, we have a lot of liberties. But once we are seen and deemed completely as an equal as a man, the expectation of the man is, well, you're going to go work and you're going to go do and provide the same thing that I'm doing. And that causes a real shift in the household. That causes a shift in, like, as a woman, you are not really taking care of your children the same way because now you have to also be at work, right? So we can't be as traditional as we want to be, ideally, because of the dangers of feminism. That's the other side that people don't really like hit on, but I think there is another side to it.
People have to, you know, the funny part is we adapt to almost everything in society, whether it's alternative lifestyles, but we change with the times. But for some reason, we are still holding on to old traditions that don't necessarily apply to our generation anymore. So the traditional roles, the roles in general in our society have to change. I do want to bring up a chart that I've seen recently, right? It says the median household income in the United States by ethnic group. It kind of fluctuates, but this particular chart says Indian Americans they have the highest medium household income, right? And when we talk about, and the group that's the last is Black Americans, right? When we talk about medium income, what people are not factoring is this is all of the income combined in one household, right? The reason Black people are bottom is because we don't all live in the same household. We usually come from single parented households. So they're only taking in one income into consideration. Whereas a Hispanic household or an Indian household or Asian household, there's multiple people under one roof having incomes, which is why they're combined and they're so higher than ours. The problem is everybody seems to understand that in America, we got to work together. Like, you know what I mean? We can't just solely rely on one income. Whereas our community, we're still trying to fight over this. You have to pay for everything and this, that, and the third. You just talked about the jobs are not paying. Jobs are not paying. They also are letting people go. Like, AI is coming to take like a lot of jobs from people. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I really want to see how people are going to adapt when AI is completely taking over a lot of these jobs. Are we going to have to survive off a universal income? Like, what is going to happen and how are we going to adapt to these gender roles? Like, you know what I mean? So
it's like that lack of unity that you're speaking about. And I find that in the Black community, like, there's been like this conversation about how a lot of times by the time you're 18, your parents will kick you out, right? And then you have to fend for yourself, versus like in white households and like Hispanic households or Asian households, you could literally be 25 still living with your parents and you could still stack up bread and still work, you know? Credit, so it's been a real conversation about like that lack of unity that I find that can definitely cause a shift, you know?
But like with what you're saying, culturally though, white people have had a head start.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So they're able to do those type of things because they've had decades of head starts of being able to pass things down to their children. Black families, Latino families, they may not have that same, they don't have those same opportunities. They're now building those things now. So the things that they can pass down, like the things that we're able to do now, we'll be able to pass it down to our children. But we didn't get those opportunities. And sometimes I also feel like people who do have those opportunities, although it's a blessing, because don't knock nobody's blessing, I would love to at 25 in my parents' house. But the truth of the matter is sometimes that hinders them too. We, like, minorities have had to fend for themselves and work harder than people who aren't minorities. And I feel like that teaches us a bigger lesson, because I rather now know how to fend for myself and my parents not provide for me or not help me out, because it teaches me a valuable lesson on how to always get it out the mud. You know what I mean? No matter what, I know I'm going to make it work. You know, there'll be a white family who sometimes the kid at 25 won't even know what to do anymore. And then they're out in the world at 25 and they have no idea how to even go to get a passport, what their social is, like basic things that minorities have had to learn from the beginning. So it's like, yes, it's a blessing to be able to like be passed down something, but not when you have no work ethic behind it. You didn't earn anything.
That's true.
You know? So
yeah, I like that. I like that you said that. I just think that, you know, we do have to get to this point where we could build together and utilize each other, because it is, I don't know about y'all, but I'd rather get 50% off of anything than have to pay that shit full price. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I'm not saying necessarily got to be 50-50, you know what I mean? But, you know, maybe he could pay, it could be a 80-20, a 70-30, like something. I think men are just saying that you guys wanted to work, you worked hard, you guys did an amazing job, you work hard. y'all brag about even how y'all out earn men. Like some women out earn men. Y'all bragging about that so much. So now it's like, okay, well, let's work towards this family. Like it's not you spending your money on me, it's you investing into us, just like I'm doing into you or whatever the case is. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, and I think a lot of men are looking towards the future. Like that's the big part. Like I could pay all the bills, but what's our future gonna look like with me just paying all the bills? You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying.
God forbid you pass away, you lose your job. Like what is going to happen?
Through a hard time or something, I got nothing in the bank because I'm paying the bills. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why you gotta look towards the future and.
Right. So let me get to this next topic. Cause we was just talking about AI. Do you think AI and technology in itself will get to the point where they will replace companionship and relationships?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a robot.
I love technology and I follow technology a lot and all the trends in the market, and it will. The same way that we are obsessing over Tinder and Bumble and all these apps and it's less interpersonal, the same way after 2020 hit, everything is now virtual and remote and less interpersonal, less face-to-face. Now people are losing jobs to kiosks and machines. Yeah, it's going to get lonelier for a lot of people.
But
and that's really
how?
scary.
Like emotionally, how does AI help you?
That hinders your ability to interact with other humans. Like eventually in another world, podcasts are going to be on Zoom or something. Like it's not going to be in person. You're not going to have that same bond and that type of relationship.
See, but the question was though, I felt like you said in romantic relationships, how would an AI technology
have you ever seen there's a movie called Her, and it's an older movie. I think it's like
that's the one where he was in love with like Siri or something.
He was loving Siri. Yes, he was in love with this. I think he developed the software, and this is before ChatGPT. This was ahead of his time. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So he developed this program that had this algorithm that was able to speak to him and knew him on a intimate level, and he legit fell in love with this this program. So that's why I think where the ChatGPTs could come in, because they understand the humans probably better than we understand each other. They're running off of a search engine that has years of like data on human emotion, like relationships. So they can, I just seen OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, the parent company. They just revealed a new program, version of ChatGPT where it's visual now and it can speak to you. So it's having a full blown conversation, and it doesn't sound like serious. It sounds like an actual human voice. So, you know what I mean? Having the conversations, using the mannerisms. You know what I mean? We're already getting to the point where women and men are feeling comfortable using sex toys, and I don't need that relationship. I got my toy. I got the vibrator 3000, the clip bunny 3000. Like,
shout out to
we
Rose
got
Quan.
the pussy pocket 5000. Shout out to Big Bro. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Rose Quan.
See, we on came out with names to these motherfuckers. Like
Rose Quan. Yeah.
Is the name of your vibrator?
Rotuan?
Rose Quan. We don't gotta give Rose Quan too much airtime, but I do feel like, there will be a time. I think especially like
that nigga vibrating right now. He like,
I think that I was having this conversation the other day with one of my friends.
With Rose Quan? Oh, I was like, what?
You know what? Not too much.
Yeah.
Where it's like the further removed from dating that I become, or like my friend was agreeing, like that we become, the more complacent we are with kind of just like waiting for it to happen and kind of like being on our own. So like it's more of like an attention and a conversational thing than it is like craving relationships for a lot of times. So
is it that you're complacent or you're just learning to love yourself? Because those are two different.
Oh, that's tea. I think honestly it started off with loving myself, but then it became a sort of complacency, because I'm at a point where like, let a nigga mispronounce a word and I'm ready to cut him off. Like and it's like, I know that sounds crazy and I'm not okay with being in that place. Right. Yeah, no, and I can admit, like, I'm not okay with being in that place, but I think that the farther removed you are from that, the harder it gets to get back in. So I think that if you're in a place where, we're working from home and we're like doing everything online now. I know like even with the games, they have concerts on like Roblox and Fortnite or whatever. And it's like, if you don't have to leave your house for things because you can get it online, you can start to develop a reluctancy to going outside when you know that you can get it from the access of your home. So if I'm having good conversation and I got Rose Kwan sitting in the corner waiting for me when I finish, it's like, I may, and I know it's terrible because as humans, we crave that human attention as well. But I just say that in a place of vulnerability because I can easily see it being like, I don't have to put up with nobody else. Like, I can end the conversation when I want to. I don't have to be combative with somebody if I don't want to. Do I want to get married? Still, I hope this is not a turn off to nobody. I still would like to have, obviously, like a real life husband.
You do?
But I do. But I say all of that to say that I can see how it can transition into that place. There was an episode of Black Mirror. I don't know if y'all watched Black Mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So have you seen the episode with they had the VR headset?
Yes.
And it was the two men.
See, but the problem was, it was real people. It was real people behind that. Still.
Yeah.
It's
Right,
just
but
where
do
they
avatars.
were
They
was
started out as
not real.
avatars.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's still them.
That's
for
true.
sure. So it's like they're still talking to real people.
That was
So no
some
matter
crazy-ish-
what, technology can only be enhanced as much as we are. You know what I mean?
That's
But
not
you don't
true.
But they
think
were
that-
avatar. They was
Yeah,
attracted
I
to
was
the
gonna say.
avatar.
Technology is
Yeah,
way
you
more
don't think
advanced
that
than
like
was they?
AI can
I don't-
replicate what a human could
Yes,
do
but
in
I
an
don't
avatar
think
they can do it
situation?
better.
I don't think
Hello.
ever AI or anything will ever replace actual human interaction, because at the end of the day, as humans, we need to go outside. We need to step out. We need to talk to real people, because as things have proven to us, like being solo or like when people are in jail and they're left in a room alone, that will drive you crazy. And for a time, you can put up with it, right? But it will lead to depression. It will lead to other
We're
underlying
seeing
issues.
it right now.
There's
How many
statistics
people
with
are
COVID.
dealing with depression and anxiety
and
right
after
now?
COVID, at
Especially,
that.
I was gonna say,
After
but
COVID,
I do
social
think
anxiety.
everything is relative though. I think they're like, once again, I can speak to seeing in the future that being the case for a lot of people. Not to say that I want that for myself, but I think there are people who are reclusive and who probably would prefer to be in their house. And it's not, it doesn't mean that they'll develop, depression or anything because they don't crave that human interaction. It's just like, I don't want to be bothered. They're
comfortable.
Yeah. And if you have people for years that have never left their house before AI was a thing, before everything was before COVID, before everything was so accessible. And now it's like, you're telling me that I can still have the same dynamic of me being alone by myself and actually feel some kind of interaction. Like,
And he got the Daquan attachment 3000. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
Get the job
that shit
done.
coming on Amazon right to your front door.
That's a
Like,
fact.
yo, that's,
But what this make me think of is iRobot.
Yes.
So you got all these robots in everybody's crib. Eventually, these robots going to go mind their own, and know what I mean, it's going to be
They're gonna
iRobot all over again. So
That's what's scary about AI.
You know what's crazy?
I'm not on board with this AI.
Like
takeover,
people
man.
watch sci-fi films and they think like, oh, this can never happen. But sci-fi films are almost predicting and telling you what's.
I
Really
never
gonna
think
happen.
that. I always think this is gonna happen.
They always like
I always
you
know.
you give it a decade or something. You like, damn, this was like just he was bringing up her. That was before his time.
Like, did you see how the
Yeah.
Simpsons? Anybody watch the Simpsons?
Yeah.
I know
How they be predicting things years before. That's scary.
Yeah.
They be predicting like elections, all that kind of stuff. I'm 100% like, I know whoever's creating these sci-fi robot movies, they know something we don't know. Because
Which is why I'm
that
saying
kind of stuff,
technology is more
that
advanced.
kind of stuff can't just come out of your mind and like not exist. They know. I feel like people who are writing these movies, they know something about technology that is above our time that we have just not figured out yet, or just
They
hasn't
time
been released to the public yet.
So there's this podcast called The Diary of a CEO. And he interviewed the former, I believe he was like the head of either Google or Microsoft. And he was also a part of the evolution of AI. And he was coming on this podcast to literally warn the world that eventually AI and technology is going to be so powerful that we're not going to be able to stop it. And we're going to see this happen in the next 5 to 10 years. There's also
5 to 10 years.
and then it's happening very quick. It's going to happen so drastically. And the pandemic was a part of that strategy to lead to that. So in the next 10 years, we're going to see a very big revolutionary change by 2030, where everything's going to be less interpersonal. And this is also being documented by the UN. This is something that is really happening. It's being worked by elitist groups. So this is something that's being rolled out, and it's
Hey, this is
something.
real. This is real shit that
This is real.
we got to worry about. But we over here worrying about who won Kendrick or Drake. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's real shit happening.
But
in
even
this
that,
world.
Drake
Like,
used AI with that too. Like, it's literally just like it's
But look how.
infiltrating.
But look how like realistic it sounded. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It sounded like Snoop and Pac almost to a T. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if like we're no longer in the era of hearing Siri and it sounds very robotic and we could blatantly tell that's a robot. Like now this shit really sounds like I can't
They're
the
stealing our
scam calls,
voices.
the scams, the voice calls is gonna be crazy. It's gonna really sound like your mom like need some money or something.
They already started doing that.
They did start doing that. There is scam calls that sound like somebody.
Oh shit!
Like you see,
They already started doing that.
I don't know. This is a long time ago that happened, but when Kanye and Kim were married, he paid. It was I don't know. It was like millions of dollars. He paid someone to replicate her dead dad to give her a message for her birthday. Basically telling her, oh, I'm so proud of you. And it was so realistic. Like they got it down to his mannerism. And it basically was someone studied old videos of him and mimicked that like robotically and made a message for her from her dead father. Imagine if he could have done that, and that was years ago. That was like 5-6 years ago. If he could have done that, what people could do now, you know, if that was possible. Like, and she was like, it sounded like they released the video. It sounded like her dad, looked like her dad. She even said his mannerisms were the same, the way his hands were. That's terrifying. That like you can essentially bring people back from the dead doing something like that. You know?
I just want to say I prefer the vagina over the pocket pussy.
A nigga saying that now.
Are you speaking from experience?
Yeah, I tried it. I mean,
I'm like, that's the only way. That's the only way he would know. He tried it.
Hey,
I mean, I can judge.
All I know is they're gonna have AI where the shit is gonna listen. AI, the shit gonna get crazy. Bro, the shit gonna get wet crazy. Shit gonna be tight crazy. Like this shit gonna be just too crazy. Like,
And
you gonna probably adjust that motherfucker.
I feel like AI is not going to replace the way we feel, our generation, older generations, the way we feel about human interaction. I think kids growing up now are already getting used to that world. They're already on iPad kids. And the schools are using iPads, computers. They have phones at the age of 10, calling people, FaceTiming. I went to the hair salon today, and a 7-year-old is like FaceTiming her friend. So they're already getting used to it. So when AI takes over, it's going to be a shock to us, and we're going to be dealing with all these probably mental disorders, but they're going to be fine. It's just going to be it's the new reality.
Yeah. Yo, Jew was just saying that his kids was, I don't know if it's ChatGPT, but they was using some type of like this AI shit like for.
But shout out to Jew keeping his kids active though.
That is a fact. Gotta keep the kids active.
You don't see many kids outside these days.
Yeah. Speaking of parents and kids, I do want to get to this last topic. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen that video with the teacher getting his hair taken out.
Great segue.
Why do you think that video or that specific incident got so much backlash, and do you think it's warranted?
I think
go ahead.
Wait,
I think
we got to hear you. You've been quiet this whole show.
I'm more of a listener. I have a lot of thoughts though. I think it was just came down to classroom ethic. Traditionally, what is a classroom? What is a teacher? What are students? Teachers are supposed to teach students. Are supposed to be that. You might not even be able to laugh for real, and just keep it moving. So I think the fact that it was not something traditional in a classroom. Probably also the fact that they were females, if you want me to be honest, and he was a male. They were females because I saw people commenting about that. I think that's what made it look bad.
I think as a teacher, you have to set
Sorry, but do you think it was warranted?
The firing.
Oh, firing? No, I don't think so. I think I saw what he said also when he said like people are not used to having fun teachers, and this was like, do I think it was appropriate? In that time in the classroom? No. Do I think he should have been fired? No. That could have been a conversation. I think because it got posted on social media and it blew up, got the wrong attention, that's why he got fired.
Was he fired or suspended? Not to cut you off.
I heard
fired.
Fired. I heard suspended as well. Either
Whichever
way,
one that he was, to be
ramification,
honest, I still feel the same way. I think if it wasn't on social media, that would have been a conversation and he would not have been reprimanded in that way.
I didn't say that for semantics. I was more so saying because I think that a suspension I think is definitely appropriate. Not only did he start off the video with let's stir the pot a little, so he knew exactly what he was doing when he brought that conversation to social media. It also was, you have girls that you've taken out of their classroom, which he said, like, they finished their work early, they were able to come into the classroom, they're taking out his hair, he's not even participating with them. Like, it's not even we could do this together. He's sitting there on his computer, they're taking his hair out. When you put these things on social media, you leave it to public opinion. So I say, like, suspended or fired, because I think what may have been, that might be the culture in the school, where it's like they do things like that. The female teachers may have guys taking their hair out, and girls, or whatever. But when you put things out for public opinion, that gives room to influence your thought process.
Exactly.
And so as a school where it may be like, you know, we don't have a problem with it because this is the culture, you know, we're very collaborative environment. It's like, okay, well, now we're seeing what the reaction is. So now we have to react too. So it doesn't look like we're just like sitting back and doing nothing, you know?
Exactly.
So I think for him to get fired, it's a bit much. I don't think it was that was necessary. I also don't know him enough to say, you know, what kind of man he is. But I think to put something out there with the intention of sparking a conversation, knowing that people are going to be very opinionated when they see young girls interacting with a grown man in a situation like that, you can't get mad at what the repercussions are.
I think he had to be prepared for the potential outcomes, right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of things that could have happened. He could have walked away with nothing more than, you know, like, don't do that again.
Verbal.
Mm-hmm.
Right, verbal.
I
But
think those are the dangers of technology. Like,
Yes.
we just don't, teachers now want to film their students. That's unethical completely. Like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be filming your kids at all. I think that as a teacher, you have to set strong boundaries. Like, I used to teach. The most you get out of me is a hug and away, you know? We were talking earlier privately, right, about how today people are being accused so easily of and sexual assault. So that means as a teacher, you should be protecting yourself too. That you shouldn't be allowing students to put their hands on you, because it can be perceived another way, even if that wasn't your intention.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what happened. So I think, one, posting on social media, you fucked up. Two, they shouldn't be putting their hands on you at any capacity, unless it's like a nice, you know, friendly hug, because teachers do that sometimes. You might come into class, hey, Mr. Jones, you're cool, you know, whatever, hug, whatever, cool. We keep it pushing. But now you're in my hair.
Yeah.
I think that's a little different.
It's
you know?
intimate. And not to play like devil's advocate, but the biggest issue I feel like people had with what they were defending him is, what is a teacher's role now in society? And this is the problem. There will be parents who will be upset that something like that happens, but then it'll be those same parents who expect the teacher to drive their children home when they can't pick their kid up from school at a certain time. There was a teacher who recently said about like all the teacher backlashes. There was another thing about a white teacher putting up the hair of a black little girl so she could play, right? There was a whole discussion about that, and he got fired as well. The issue is, parents expect teachers to do the most sometimes and expect a lot from them. This teacher goes, since we're firing teacher for unethical things of what a teacher should do, then y'all can come to the gym and pick up your kids at 3:45 on the dot. There's no reason I should be driving your child home miles away when gas is $3.14. And I'm like, that's true, because there's a lot of teachers nowadays playing the role of teacher, parent, provider, guardian,
That's what
driver,
always were,
bus
though.
driver. Yeah, it's always been. Now it's like people have a problem.
They were always were, and then now, we got set boundaries.
You can't
I can't
have
even
both.
look at you can't have both.
I mean,
Exactly.
the driving thing is a little excessive, because I don't even think that's allowed in majority of schools based on contracts.
Let me ask this question.
But there are teachers doing it.
If that was a gay male and women, the girls are taking his hair out, would we have the same conversation?
I think so.
Yeah, it would still have.
I don't think so.
It still would have been, because how would we have known that he was gay in the video? Like, that's the thing. How would we have
within
known?
this whole aftermath? Obviously, the people going the internet going to internet, right? So they brung up a compilation of white teachers getting their hair braided by black students, other students doing this to white male teachers. There's a compilation. You can go on TikTok and look at a whole compilation. This has been happening. I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but this man, from my understanding, he seems to be a teacher that the kids respect. He recorded it in a way. He explained what he was doing. I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but he explained what he was doing. He recorded it. That way, y'all can't say, if he didn't record it, y'all can't assume that, well, we don't know what he was doing. He recorded for his own safety, and that could have been a detriment to him. He had his hands to himself. He wasn't looking at them any type of way. Sometimes we want, men we don't have enough black male teachers in the school system at all now. Now when we have one who seems to be a good teacher that the kids can relate to. I've seen people saying, "Oh, well, why is he using bestie?" Like he's meeting the kids where they're at. Like he is younger, so of course he's going to use terminology that they can relate to. Yeah. So I think sometimes we have to allow men to have that positive, be that positive role model in these young girls or young boys' lives without always going to the extreme and saying it's sexual or we're trying to villainize him. Like I seen people celebrating that this man got fired. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, but I also think that there's a conversation to be had about what it does when the girls move on. They're in middle school now. So he may have had completely innocent intentions with them taking out his hair, but that doesn't mean that when they go to high school and they have a teacher who's actually a pervert, when he's like, "Oh yeah, come take out my hair," and he's trying to sneak glances and everything, it doesn't mean that they're like that's an appropriate situation, because they may be like, "Oh well, my teacher at so and so school said it was fine. Like I did it for him."
You could say that in any situation. He could have been tutoring after school, and they go tutor with the teacher in high school, and that guy had in any situation.
But in a tutoring situation, you are going
one-on-one in the classroom.
You could say that's an intimate situation too. It's a one-on-one situation. No other students is there.
But I mean, it's appropriate. It's appropriate though. So
that don't mean it can't still not be an intimate situation.
It doesn't. But if you're in school getting tutored, you should be getting tutored in school. You don't go to school to get your hair taken out. So it's a different, not to cut you off, but it's a different dynamic where it's like, my friend was also telling me, she's a teacher, and she was telling me about there was this little girl that had to use the bathroom in her school, and when she had to use the bathroom, there was a janitor in there, and basically one of the teachers was telling her that she should still let the girl use the bathroom while the janitor was in there because he wasn't going to do anything to her. She was like, yeah, and she was like, I'm here, like he's not going to do anything to her, she could still use the bathroom, like he's fine, just let her go in and out. And she's like, what are you talking about? That's a grown-ass man. Why would I let her go in the bathroom with a grown-ass man? And it's like, what you may think, he's completely innocent and he may not do anything to that little girl, and that may be very well and true, but that doesn't mean that the next time she goes in the bathroom and she sees a man in there that she's not going to think it's okay because she did it the last time. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you may have a man who is completely innocent in his actions, and it's like, yeah, you could take my hair out, you look at me as a big brother, you look at me as a father figure, cool, but it creates a level of comfortability for you to navigate other situations doing the same thing because the grace that you were showing in that situation.
That can be applied to any situation.
Yeah, but when it comes to children, you have to be overprotective of children because they're sponges. They're learning everything.
I think the difference is because this could happen at home with your parents as well, but the difference is your parents are going to tell you like, oh, I'm the only one that's supposed to be doing that with you. You know what I'm saying? But I think the point that's getting overlooked in this whole situation is he's motivating these kids. They finished their work early just so they could go chill with him. So whatever he's doing is working.
They're gonna say that's a red flag. Why do you want to chill with him? You know what I'm saying?
It got teachers. It got teachers that it got teachers. Wait. But it got teachers. Bro, it got teachers that can't get their kids to do no work in the classroom.
Bro. My teachers motivated me by saying we can play freeze dance after if y'all finish.
I don't think they were motivated by taking out his hair.
Yeah, I'm not talking about taking out his hair. He didn't tell them, yo, y'all finish your work, y'all come bring my hair. They finished their work and came to the classroom and he said, yo, I need a favor. That was it.
I think it's the act that has everybody twisted, because if he said, after you finish early, we could play tic-tac-toe on the board, it wouldn't have been looked at strangely. Yeah, I understand. Right. And I disagree. I mean, I agree, taking out his hair was not appropriate. The ethics are wrong. I agree with that 100%. There's no classroom ethic for sure. But my opinion is that he shouldn't have been suspended or fired. Do I think that there should have been a conversation? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You need to know that you shouldn't be posting that on social media. You shouldn't have had them doing that to your hair.
He had the signatures of all the parents of these children.
It's not about having the signatures.
No,
though.
Like putting it up on TikTok or wherever he put it. Like,
this is shouldn't be posting kids
video. Taking out your
but
hair.
But he knew what he was doing. Media. Like I said, he started the video off, let's stir the pot.
Anytime you put something on social media, it's already on a platform where everybody gets to have an opinion. Now, how other people react is not in your control.
People gonna have an opinion on.
He might have posted.
To every action, there is a direct reaction.
Groomers
Yeah, but now and this is
Clock it.
Grooming the kids and fucking them.
Clock it.
Those be the niggas that be saying all the cool shit.
Clock it.
Come on to the show.
Yo, that's a fact though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but now we get into the point where we villainize all men based off of the actions of a few, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not about villainizing.
It's nothing about villainizing him.
It is about, because if he was a gay male, we would not have
that's not
it. That's not true. This was an intimate situation.
What I would say is this.
No, that's the thing. This was an intimate situation. I do not want my child touching any grown adult's hair that they're not related to, that at home. Like, that's weird. It has nothing to do with him being gay, straight. That's weird. Why are you in the head of a grown man? Why are you touching a grown man?
There's compilation. I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but we have to reevaluate everything. We got to stop sexualizing everything because of trauma. And just like how everybody became a boundaries and ethic and professionalism, when teachers have been yelling for the last couple of years, your children are unteachable. They have poor behavior. They're on top of tables twerking. None of y'all are attending. None of y'all are attending parent-teacher associations. Y'all don't know the relationships of these. Y'all don't even know who these teachers are. Y'all don't know the teachers that y'all
exactly. You don't know who they are.
Nobody's involved in their students' lives. But when teachers have been saying for years, like, nobody. Where's all the uproar when your kids are coming to school with their pants down, being disrespectful, fighting teachers? Where's the same energy? There's not that same energy. That's all I'm saying. Keep that same energy across the board.
But they are a child, and that is a grown adult.
That doesn't mean it's acceptable.
I think it's not acceptable, but he's a grown man, and those are children. I understand what you're saying. Parents need to take care of their children and reprimand them for what they're doing in school. Absolutely. Their behavior is unacceptable. But at the end of the day, a child is going to do what a child does. A grown man who knows right from wrong is different.
Working on the table is not. That's
children are immature though. That's
teachers are saying, parents, we need y'all to be more vocal. And what y'all are vocal about? Some innocent man who doesn't have a reputation for harming kids. Do you know him?
But also
from harming kids.
Also,
and not for nothing.
So then now we're thinking the worst possible scenario.
These kids that are twerking on tables, these kids that are fighting in school, they're also getting suspended. They are getting reprimanded. It's not just a video that gets posted up like.
It's all over social media. Other parents are talking shit about them too.
Twerking and they're going to class the next day like nothing. Like, no, that's so embarrassing.
when we have
trouble.
That's I'm just saying keep the same energy. Why are we not having enough conversations about female teachers sexually assaulting male teachers? Nobody's talking about that.
I've seen conversations. But I would say that a lot of those conversations are being led by women because unfortunately men think that shit is cool. You see a woman that has been sexually assaulting a young boy in school and you have people reposting it like, where were teachers like this when I was in school? There are men that glorify those type of actions, so you can't compare it because it's a very one-sided conversation. The women have a lot to say about it, at least from what I've seen. Women have a lot to say because sexual assault is sexual assault no matter who it's coming from. Mm-hmm. But the men are the ones that are like, oh, shit, I want a teacher like that. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Oh, he's a snitch for telling. Why would he tell? That's what's happening. So you can't really hold it. The conversations are definitely happening. The same way that the conversations are happening when it comes to what he did with taking the kids' hair out and with kids twerking on tables and stuff like that. A lot of the people who are talking about it don't have kids. He put it out to the internet. So you have students that are talking about it. You have people like me. I have no kids, but I can still give my opinion on the situation because he brought it to the internet. Whereas I'm not aware of kids twerking on tables and stuff like that unless I see it. And if I see it, then it's subject to a conversation. But teachers aren't really recording them doing that the same way that he recorded it and put it up for us to see.
My thing is if the parents didn't have a problem with it, the school didn't have a problem with it, then these opinions of everybody on the social media, it shouldn't affect what they do. If that works for their school and there's no problem, you should stick by your teacher.
But if nobody calls it out, then who's going to have the conversation?
But the thing was never not to have a conversation. The thing was he didn't need to get fired. He didn't need to get suspended. There should absolutely have been a conversation. It shouldn't have been like, oh, carry on. What you did wasn't wrong. Right. Yes, it was wrong. Yes, we need to talk about it. But you didn't need to get suspended because, then that opens up the can of worms of, oh, well, that teacher did it. That compilation came out and that teacher didn't get suspended in that school district.
But you know what else I just thought about? Maybe if he did get suspended, maybe it also was because, once again, the internet can influence our opinions on things.
For sure.
Maybe it was like, we don't want you to be into the building because there are other teachers that may look at you differently, or there are other students that may look at you differently, where it's like, you maybe just for the time being, you could take a step back. The school year is about to end anyway. Take a step back, do what you got to do, because you don't know what kind of treatment you're going to be getting when you step back into these doors.
Yeah, and that's why I said social media is the problem.
That. Yeah,
right.
No, definitely.
And with what you were saying about like us not like hearing like what's going on in other situations, the problem is we need to look at situations sometimes singularly. We have a problem as like a generation of social media is we keep comparing situations to other situations, and then it excuses the behavior of the main problem. The problem is, genuinely, he had a few little girls take his hair out. It was unprofessional. That's it. That's the end of the story. We don't need to compare it to this teacher who did that, but that was professional, and this teacher did that, because we can compare a situation to billions of other situations, but that doesn't excuse what he did. His behavior was unethical and it was unprofessional. That's it. It doesn't matter if this teacher over here did this and they didn't get suspended. Doesn't matter. This is what happened in this situation. This is how we're addressing it. And that's it.
Is one thing, and I agree, it's one thing to have a conversation, but we can't be so vocal about this one particular conversation that we are ignoring the other conversations that are probably more important. Maybe there needs to be, because of this conversation, maybe more teachers, more parents need to join the parent-teacher association so they could understand what's going on with their school, with their students, with the relationships with their students. Some parents are. There's a lot of parents that aren't. So they don't know what kind of relationship these students and teachers have. Some of them could be inappropriate. Some of them could genuinely just be like they have their best interests. There's a PSA. There's teachers that actually have the best interests of students out there, genuinely, like without no creepy shit, without no sexual shit, without no whatever the case is. Like, you know what I mean? So now we get to a point now where we have less male teachers. Now we probably want is less because they're so afraid we can't have no interactions at all. Like, I'm thinking maybe they might not have a father figure or that positive male role model, and I'm here to be a safe space for them. They trust me, whatever the case is. Like, no sexual shit. Like, we just so used to sexualizing everything, and I think that's where the issue comes from.
So, are you saying that you think it was okay?
I don't think he should have got fired or suspended, and I don't think that people should have been celebrating him getting fired or suspended. Like,
but her question was, do you think what he did was okay?
If I was a parent, right, and apparently I can't talk about this because I'm not a parent, so whatever the case is,
you can.
Hypothetically.
If I was a parent, I would have a better relationship with my school, with my child's school, and the teachers to understand like they have his best interest. I don't think what he did.
You're not answering the question.
He getting to his point.
You keep going around the question. The question is, do you think what he did was okay? It's a yes or no answer. Do you think what he did in the video was okay?
Okay with your children?
If I had a daughter and I understood the relationship I'm getting to the yes or no.
I think what Eli is trying to say, if he had a personal relationship with that teacher and he understood the intentions of that teacher, then he would be okay with it, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So if I had that relationship with that teacher, yes.
But from the outside looking in, all you see is a grown ass man with little girls, and that looks bad.
And he said himself, the parents didn't have an issue with it.
Exactly.
The students didn't have. They understand the type of teacher he is.
Exactly.
And I get, yes, we could think of the worst possible. Ever since the Kells and all these other niggas, we could always think about the worst possible scenario and go to that and then be like, well, that did it.
I have a question
like, you know what I mean?
for you. What if you did have a relationship with him as a teacher, but you didn't like his character, or you might find something flawed about him, but your daughter is braiding his hair? So, or do you also think that there should be like an investigative process within schools where like teachers are being vetted or checked to see their behavior?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
But how would you feel with that first question if it was your daughter and you didn't really have a good relationship with the teacher? Because, for example, I have a son.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have that relationship. I don't know his intention. So yes, if I'm on the outside looking in and I didn't do the work to invest into my child and her teachers, like, then I wouldn't have that information. So of course I'm gonna feel some type of way. Yes.
But what about the hygiene? Like, that's unsanitary.
Well, that too.
That was in the comments. They were talking about
hygiene.
And hair does carry energy too. So it's very.
My mom always said that. You can't just be touching up.
It does, like,
sanitary.
They been touching the kids all day. They friends all day at school.
Kids that play
they in the lunch cafeteria.
They don't play in mud anymore. more.
They touching
They
railings
don't
and
say
all
that
that other shit. Like,
nowadays.
what the
They don't
fuck?
play in mud no more. That was us.
Huh?
I was a teacher.
Oh,
like
they're middle schoolers and they are also iPad kids. They not getting dirty.
They don't get dirty. They don't know hygiene.
They're in a public
As
place.
soon as they touch a doorknob,
Kids
a railing, or like.
First of all, kids be sneezing, touching anything, and they come in.
Yeah, but you're talking about little children. We're talking about middle schoolers that are self-aware of hygiene.
You know what they be doing.
Self-aware of what is right and wrong as well. 'Cause
Adults
we
not
keep-
even self-aware of their hygiene.
But we keep talking about him being wrong,
Yo.
but they should have also been old enough to
Adults
be
don't
aware that unbraiding your teacher's hair is a little strange.
Well, no, I don't think
It wasn't braiding his hair.
And if y'all saying that they're aware of hygiene, that means they're aware of how if his hair was clean enough to touch or not.
No, because
he's saying unbraid my hair, and they're like, okay,
No, because they don't have.
They're aware of hygiene, but not when it comes to
No, because children do not have the discernment that adults do.
Yeah. They don't. It's different.
So
but you're
if you
old enough.
are an adult that you, especially taking on the role of a leader, your children are following your lead. So if you are saying this is something that I want y'all to do, and this is a project that we're going to do as impressionable children whose frontal lobes have not even developed yet, you are assuming that your teacher has your best interest and that's what you're going to do. So
That's what some kids assume for sure.
Yeah.
Me, I wouldn't have. If my teacher told me unbraid my hair and we were cool, I would be like, no.
But that's also your experience. There are not kids who have that type of discernment, and more likely than not, they don't.
But these,
that's what I'm saying.
But
Every
these
kid
these
is
are the same.
different. Yeah.
These are the same kids we're talking about that we're allowing them to listen to Sexy Red and all this other sexual activity.
I don't think
but now
parents are allowing that to happen. That's just society.
They bumping and shit on the way to school.
No, but that's the problem. That's certain.
The parents be singing it with them.
That's the thing. The problem is
The mom be in
these
the
are
car
other.
like, yeah, sexy.
That's different because there are some children who are exposed to things before other kids are. So by natural association, other kids who may not know those things are exposed because they're around that. So if me and you are on the bus and we're middle schoolers and your mom lets you listen to Sexy Red and my mom only lets me listen to Christian music, now I'm listening to Sexy Red and I know who she is because of you. The exposure by association is completely different. Like it's not, I don't think parents are actively allowing their children to listen to this or to curse or to do all those
Some
things.
are.
Well,
Some definitely
some are. Some who don't need to be parents, but
There's a lot of
parents
them. A lot of
parents who actually have their children's best interest at heart sometimes have children who know things that they don't want them to know, and they can't control it because you can't protect your kid from the world. You know, you have to allow your kid to live and learn on their own, but we can't assume that all behaviors that are bad from children are always learned from their parents. Sometimes they're learned by the little nasty kid from the bus stop. You know what I mean? It's not always the parent's fault or the parent needs to be like, like sometimes it's just by association. You can't oversee your child with everything. You just have to trust that what you instilled in them is enough for them to take on the world and be able to be positive. And that's also the issue with teachers doing that parents, we trust them to go out to school and we trust that teacher to continue that and instill in them positive things, and then they come home and we see a video of them online unbraiding their teacher's hair. Like that's not what you send your child to do. You know, like you want them to go to school and learn and do something positive. That was not a positive outcome. That only gained negativity. You know what I mean?
Do you think that he should have been he deserved whatever?
I think he should have been reprimanded. I don't think fired. He needed to be suspended. He needed to, the whole school needed to go through an ethics check because clearly if that's what's being allowed, first of all, why are you outside and have this free time to go? Who was their teacher who let them go out there? You know what I mean? That's what I want to know. Who let them do that?
And they finished.
He said no. He said there was other classrooms. What are the other teachers doing that they're allowing their students to go out and do something else that has nothing to do with schoolwork?
And it's not even and it's not even June yet. Like June is usually where students start kind of rolling out and things are more chilled. And so I'm like, y'all not.
And what you were saying, you said about having relationships with teachers. What if, as a mom, I do have a relationship with Miss Penny, but Miss Penny done send my child to Mr. Kyle's classroom, and I don't know Mr. Kyle. So now, as a parent who is a part of the PTA and who is a part of knowing their teacher and who goes to every parent-teacher conference, I haven't met Mr. Kyle because my child is not in Mr. Kyle's classroom. So why do I need to have an intimate relationship with him when Miss Penny is her teacher or his teacher? You know?
And on top of that, I sent my child to Miss Penny's class, and now my child is in a video that's floating around for millions of people to see and comment on.
So now I'm gonna have a conversation with Miss Penny because why aren't you watching my child? Why did you let my child go to another classroom?
These are all hypotheticals because all the parents was okay with it until it hit the internet. Like so,
that's what I'm saying. I think the social media aspect is what has everybody
Did the parents
in
say that, though?
shambles.
Right.
That's what he said. Just like how that's what Josh said.
He said that the parents liked his content and they were okay with him posting videos, but they didn't necessarily agree to having them taking his hair out.
That's what the parents.
Right.
That's what the parents said.
Well, that's what he said in his video. He said that
the parents wasn't necessarily agree.
They weren't aware of the type of content he was making.
No,
they had seen his content prior, but they didn't know of this specific video.
Because the video of them taking his hair out was initially on live. He was on live while they were taking his hair out. And then he took a recording of the live and posted it to his page to have the conversation about it. So it was happening in real time.
So look,
I don't know.
It is actually quite illegal to film students. That's why parents have to sign a consent form. Just like we had a waiver that we had to sign to be here today, they have to do the same thing. So that's already an issue like in itself. Like I don't think teachers should be recording
and the
any
content
child.
is specified in those contracts. It doesn't say TikTok videos. It says for school pictures or the yearbook.
Right.
It's very specific what these forms say.
Yeah, you don't know what's on his phone.
Now everybody know the fucking school textbooks and shit. Like now they got the manual and they fucking
When you go to
and
school,
shit. Like,
all those things say the same thing. It's for school uses. The guidelines for school uses. What he was doing was personal use. That has completely different. So they didn't sign away a waiver to be on his personal TikTok. They signed a waiver for it to be for the school. You know, so. Those are totally different things.
I don't think he should have been comfortable enough to be posting TikToks of his students.
Exactly.
Like, regardless. When you're at work to work. So the fact that you even intertwine the two is crazy.
So how y'all feel about them candy salad videos that's like going around on TikTok? Oh, yeah.
The what?
Candy what?
There's like a trend right now on TikTok where like they have students and they're like, my name is Johnny and I bought Sour Patch Kids. And then they put it,
I have seen that.
and like that's like a very innocent type of video. So like how do y'all feel about that? Because the teachers are in the video, the students are in the video saying their names. Some of them have school.
Wait, hold on real quick. I feel like we gotta get the fuck up out of here.
Oh,
So, you know,
okay. My bad.
Yo, anyway, man, we appreciate having y'all on the show. Let them know where they can follow you again.
Yeah, my name is Nino Reyes. Follow me at NRE.24, NRE.24.
Priance, you can follow me at Priance_.
Charisma, you can follow me at KARIZMAA.
Vickiana, you can follow me at Vickiana Celeste.
And Brianna, you can follow me at Brianna Imani _.
Listen, man. Shit, we don't have a hell of a conversation, man. Hit that like button, man. If y'all agree, if I was wilding, let me know if I was wilding in the comments.
Join the
man.
membership.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Join the we about to talk to Jew right now.
Right.
Listen, man.
Join the
appreciate
membership.
y'all, man. We out.
Cop the merch.
Cop the merch.
That was a good convo.
I'm hot as heck.
He's like, y'all did that for conversation purpose or like that's
I was dead thinking that too.
I generally ain't seen nothing wrong with what you did, bro.
I definitely didn't.
I worked in the after school with
should have
middle
been
school
fired.
kids, and I understand.
Even if you work in the school, can you hug a kid?
I mean,
You have to only give them
The side
side
hug.
of you.
The side hug, yeah.
All right, so there's rules on that. Where the fuck is the rules when you digging in some grown ass man's head?
every action.
I